Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. This is Susie Bowen with Qualtrax, and today presenting for us is Stuart Raley. We are going to be talking about reducing your workload with Qualtrax custom homepage. So Stuart is the quality assurance supervisor at the Arizona Department of Public Safety Scientific Analysis Bureau. He's been with the quality department since 2012, and he's supervised a whole bunch of different areas in the laboratory. And he also worked on the bench performing DNA analysis for about 12 years. He has been a Qualtrics user since 2015, and he understands the importance of the software functionality for quality as well as for laboratory compliance, as well as areas that require stringent record documentation and accountability. So this afternoon, Stuart's going to be sharing with us his experience building and utilizing custom homepages in Qualtrics. Thank you so much for presenting this webinar with us today, Stu, and you can take it away when you're ready to go. And sorry, while Stu is pulling his stuff up, also please do put in your questions in the question area throughout. I'll be monitoring those, and then we can go over any questions that we don't get through during the presentation. We can work on those afterward. So thanks all again for joining.
All right, Susie, thank you, and thank you all for having an interest. I think that when we first got Qualtrax, there was the option of customizing your homepage. I think in the user's manual, it was a bread company that they showed, and that was really cool for us. But the file was on the server side. We didn't have access to the server side, and it just didn't really work out for us. And so we put together a really clunky web page that just was kind of a landing page for us, and that's what we used for years. And then Qualtrax came out and said, hey, we're thinking about having the ability for the customer to customize their own web page, and we're going to make it easy for them. And would you be interested in it? Is that something that you would be interested in and have a use for? And I said, absolutely. And I want to show you why I said that. I'm going to start this presentation just because it'll give you a better idea of what we're looking at the lab. So the Arizona Department of Public Safety Crime Lab has 4 labs throughout the state of Arizona. And this is our sort of homepage for the lab system. And let me hide this real quick. So this is the homepage for the lab system, and we have just general lab stuff, the in-out board where we clock in and clock out, and some meeting notes, and next week's a holiday, so the timesheets need to get in earlier. We're updating to LIMS 3.8, and so we've got a user's guide for that. And so this is a lot of not really quality assurance stuff. And if you look at the top, you see all these tabs, and then over in the upper left-hand corner, you see the QA tab. So let me go and take you to the QA tab, and the QA tab is what you'd expect to see on a QA tab. It's got some QA important stuff, and PTs. We had some couple of interns a couple of years ago, and so there's a lot of quality message that we can push out, but we haven't updated it in a while, and it's just buried in this tab over here. And so when they came up with being able to customize the homepage, that was perfect, because as quality assurance managers or people in the quality profession, we always want to be proactive instead of reactive. And of course, there's always going to be a reactive component, but we want to build that culture of quality within our system so that is proactive. And what a better way that you can do that then is to be able to push your message out without being too overwhelming. If we had equality always on this web page right here, instead of sort of personnel information, people would lose sight of that. And so that's why building a Qualtrax homepage really works for us. And I'm going to take you through sort of my evolution of what we started off with to what we kind of ended with, because it is easy in one sense. And I kind of went down a web page design a wormhole a little bit. So this is our system. Everybody's familiar with this login. So we're going to log in. And at first, it's going to come to my inbox. And this probably looks pretty similar to other people's inboxes that still spend a lot of time in Qualtrax. And you can set this setting if you go to System Settings, Web Settings, and then down here you can set the login redirect to your inbox, your dashboard, or your home page. And so we'll set it to the home page and save changes. And we'll get to selecting the actual home page in a minute. And then I'll log out, log back in. And now here is our old home page, and I kept it saved in the system. And this is perfect for us because, you know, we could add some image to it, and we could add some, you know, design to it, but we could also push out, you know, internal audit dates. And we had an A&AB surveillance visit that was coming up, and so we could give important dates. So we could give quality information out to the system, but only if you logged into Qualtrax. And a lot of people aren't going to be logging into Qualtrax day in and day out, but I would say the majority of people will get into Qualtrax once a week, maybe once every other week, to process workflows or to view documents if you've got it set up that way. We also were rolling out, in preparation for the surveillance visit, we also were rolling out a new SOQ, and we wanted everybody to you know, do their SOQ, and then we had instructions on how to fill out your new SOQ. And this was perfect for us. And what this document is a Word document that just has a table embedded like a normal Word document. And my system's gonna not cooperate with me. And so it's just a table embedded in a Word document, and it's got the borders of the table turned off. And that's all that this document is. And I was able to upload it into Qualtrax, and I was able to populate this home page. And so I was thinking, well, this is nice and this is neat. Let me try to figure out something I can do with another Word document. And so this was my first attempt at covering a Word document with a bunch of just a big table, and trying to get fancy and a little over my skis a little bit with this kind of functionality. And you know, we wanted things like you know, important links for quality, and we have tech lead calendar and a quality assurance calendar, and we wanted a PT schedule in there. And so we wanted all the stuff that we could put into it, but the Word document really didn't do that for us. And so I kind of started going down the kind of HTML rabbit hole. And the first thing that I did is when Qualtrax reached out to see if I'd be interested in this presentation, they gave me their splash page, their landing page, and I was able to, and they showed me how it works. It's very simple. And we went in and they changed the background picture to a DPS, you know, trooper car. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. So let me see if I can work with that. And so my first attempt was something like this. And I'm not very good with colors, but we had things that we wanted that had the sort of design content in there. We had the links, we had the important info, we had a QA newsletter section, we had a quality quote that every quality person probably has, and so it was good, but it didn't look good, and I wanted to kind of go down the wormhole, I guess, of web development, and I spent a lot of Christmas break and doing that, and so this is kind of what we came up with. So let's change this to our landing page, and so we have a landing page so that we don't have this page always up and on the screen. So once again, you'll go down to system settings. You'll go to web settings, and this time you're going to select the home page. And so pulls up your document tree. Ours is an SAB Quality Assurance, SAB homepage. And then we'll go through and we'll click on this landing page here. And so we save changes. And we'll go, and instead of logging in and logging back on, I'll just click on the Qualtrax logo. And so this is our landing page. You can put pictures, whatever you want back here, but this is when we don't want to update content. We just want to have something for people to come and enjoy when they're logging into Qualtrax. And this stays up. This stays up for a while, and while we're updating the content of the regular homepage. And this is kind of our little offering to the lab that something peaceful and serene, because you're probably responding to a bunch of Qualtrax emails. And so when we do want to offer content, we'll go back to system settings, and we'll go to web settings, and we'll go to homepage, go back to SAB homepage, and then I'm going to pick this grid homepage. Save changes, and hit the logo again. And so this is what our current homepage looks like. And I graduated from LSU, so it started off as a purple and gold homepage, but then it kind of morphed into a Mardi Gras themed homepage, which is next week. And so we've got everything that we wanted in that original homepage, right? We have all this information, but I was able to really design it better. And so what we have up here in the header is we've got a QA calendar, which is a document that's stored in our Qualtrax system. This is all the stuff that QA does per month, so people can actually see that we actually do stuff. And so we're able to give information out that way. We also have a technical lead calendar, much the same way. Our tech leads have different duties that they do every month. And so this gives people an idea of what to expect from their tech lead, and it gives the tech lead an idea of what QA expects from our tech leads. And then we have some links. We have a link to the internal DPS portal, which is an internal department website. We do a lot of our department training on eCanvas. There's a link to the PCAST report, which is big in forensics, and this is a Qualtrax document in our system. We have the NAS report, and then we can add more links on this side. Here are the links that we have for that I told you about in the other website. And then we have instructions part 2 coming, and I thought I'd throw up just a it's not here yet kind of page. just to have fun with it and to bide me some time before I make the content. And then the template, which once it does download, it's a Word file, and you all are familiar with how Word files download and open in Qualtrax. And then we have some more information, and we have the upcoming proficiency tests, so the analysts know what they're doing and what they're expected to do as far as proficiency tests go. And then over here on the right-hand side, we have the QA newsletter, which is coming soon, which we have to kind of develop that content, right? And so this is all so that we try to instill a culture of quality in the lab, and that we try to make our culture more proactive than reactive. And that's sort of our quality assurance unit's theme this year, is to see if we can build that culture of quality and make our culture, more reactive than proactive. And then here's that quote that we pulled from Benjamin Franklin down below. So that's kind of how that's kind of the evolution. And honestly, I've forgotten how to import this into Qualtrax. It's not hard. There's a certain step that you have to do. And Qualtrax will walk you through that. The people will walk you through that. And the program actually makes it pretty easy to kind of walk you through those steps. But once I got the hang of, developing web pages, I just never honestly looked back. And I can see us kind of having fun with this. So in March, we'll probably update this to look more St. Patrick's Day-ish. And we'll kind of, being in Arizona, probably in July, we'll probably just have a burning sun in here. So there's a lot you can do with it. A couple tricks that I learned is that your pictures go in first. So you kind of get your idea of your content. And if you go to the documents and go to the homepage folder, and these are all the homepage, things that we've created. Your pictures go in first. And the reason why they go in first from a web-based aspect, and also for if you want to do the Word based access, if you want to do the Word version, is that when you code your document, and this is all what Google can give you, you're going to use the show document link for whatever image that you want. And so for this image, if I click on it, it'll give me the image that's on the left-hand pane. And so all your documents are going to use that show document link that you're used to when you can view Qualtrax from the outside. And all these documents have to have visitor access to them. If they have user access and somebody is wants to get in and they're not logged in on the same browser, or the browser window opens up into a different window or a different like Chrome instead of Edge, or and then you're going to run into some issues because you won't have access. But mostly, if you use the show document link, you won't have any issues and give visitor access to these documents. So that's kind of a tour of what we did in our development as we went through. And yeah, now we'll just take any questions, and I'll turn it back over to Qualtrax.
Yeah, we've got some great questions coming in. One specifically, Stu, for you is, would you be willing to share your QA calendar? So,
Oh, yeah.
okay, that'd be great. So we can provide that. Whoever, that was an anonymous one. So if you want to message us or email me. This information is now on the screen, so you can see my email address. You guys can email me if you have any questions, or you want some of that basic information that we talked about at the beginning. So we did get some questions about what kind of program you like to use for the coding. Do you want to talk about that at all, Stu?
Sure. There are two programs, and I don't think I have um, the one that I started using, which was called Code Writer. But it's a program that works well. But my program that I use is Visual Studio Code, and the main reason why I use it is because when you start typing, it pulls up your kind of options, and so if and they've got um, other options, and this is all on Google, and Google and YouTube has been phenomenal. There's some phenomenal courses on YouTube. There's some phenomenal tutorials on YouTube that can kind of walk you through the basics of like um, Flexbox and CSS Grid and all these web developing schemes. But Visual Studio Code works really well because it always will bring up kind of the suggestions on what you might want to put into your code.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry, Susie, I was going to ask a question too.
sure.
This is Tim Aiken at Qualtrax. Stuart, I like too that you pointed out, not only did you do this in HTML, but you can also still just do this in Word if you don't have the chops or even the time to do HTML coding. And so I think that's important too. You were one that wanted to dive into it, but if you're resource restricted, you could absolutely just kind of stick with the Word thing and keep updating it there.
Yeah, that's a perfectly acceptable option. And if I didn't go down the wormhole of web development, then we would stick with the Word document. And there's it's really its only limitation is what you can't do with the Word document itself, and that's probably pretty limitless. So.
We also had another question about, are you able to link documents both inside of Qualtrics and outside? And the answer to that is yes. And I think, Stu, you had examples of both types of situations. Is that correct in yours?
I did. I put everything in. Yeah, well, I put everything into Qualtrax, but so for instance, if I go to, I think it's up here. Oh wait, no, it's down here. So if I go down here, this is a Qualtrax. That's the QA calendar, the tech lead calendar. So here are DPS
I
links.
think we need to stop sharing,
Yeah,
Tim.
sure.
There we go.
I'll
Thanks.
give you the screen.
Oh.
There you go. Sorry about that. I took over.
Oh, am I good now?
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen again, if you don't mind.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay. This is the code for the QA calendar. This is the code for the tech lead calendar. But down here is a code that is for an internal DPS site. And when I was testing this out, I put a code in here, for a link in here for some random site that I went to, like Google. So this is very customizable for both links inside of Qualtrax and outside of Qualtrax.
Yeah, and I'll follow up on that with one thing that you've got set up, and you'll see that target equals blank. That opens the link into a new tab. And for external sites, it will have to open in an external tab. That's a security thing that we do. So How you've got that set up is perfect, but just for anybody else who wants to do this, if you're linking to something external, that's what you'll have to do.
Great. Another question, once you have the HTML code, are there specific instructions to upload the code, or did you just put it on in the homepage folder as HTML code? So you can upload that into an HTML file, but I'll let Stu go ahead and discuss what he did specifically.
Yeah, so but there are a few things you can go to. What I did is it's very important that you put the images in first, because that way you know that the images work. And if you're doing the show document link, you can actually make sure that the HTML file that you want to put up renders in the browser before you put it into Qualtrax. So you can kind of test it out and make sure that it's rendering correctly for you. These images, since they are images and they're not in the document itself, you have to pull them in. You want them to be as small as you can and get the display that you want, because if you have big images, they're going to take a long time to load. And so you'll notice if I refresh, see how they're loading into the document. And I tried to get these as small as I could to still kind of keep the clarity. But to do this, you would create a document just like you create any other document in Qualtrax. You go to the document, you go to create document here, and you pull it in. Now these were all, and I don't know if this is a Word thing or an HTML thing, and I didn't try it with HTML, but these were all controlled documents that had to be approved by me. I don't know if the HTML docs can be uncontrolled.
Yeah, for the homepage, it does have to be a controlled HTML document.
Yeah, so thanks, Tim. So yeah, you would run it and approve it just like you would a normal document. You would choose your files, and you would choose your HTML files just like you would choose any other file in Qualtrax, or any file to import into Qualtrax.
Another question was if your final homepage was based on a Word document. That initial one was based on Word, correct? But your final one was based on an HTML file.
Yeah, the final one is based on this HTML file, but the first one was based on this Word document with I'm sorry, with the borders turned off.
And for a tiny bit of clarity on that too, both of them are still HTML documents. He's just building the document in Word and then saving it as HTML when he's done. So just a little bit of clarity there too.
Yeah, it's a good point, Tim. So yeah, so when you and the instructions, I believe there are instructions in the help manual, but also Qualtrax, the support site really provided good instructions when I was trying to get this all figured out for Word documents.
Yeah, thank you. And we can provide a link to the support portal, which has more information on it. And we can also provide some information from Qualtrax on this. There is information in the help guide as well. So if you wanted more information and you want to just let us know, we can reach out to those of you who are interested in getting some more information after this. So there was some other questions that I think are kind of in line with that. So one person asked about that you mentioned a trick to uploading the HTML and asked for a little bit more of an explanation. And I believe that is also related to kind of the order of operations. And Stu, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but we can provide that information in that link that I was just talking about.
Yeah, no, it's there's more to it with the Word document, of course,
Mm,
and adding the Word document, or a Word document that you save as an HTML and then add that up to it. There's a very specific set of instructions that Qualtrax can, the support team can walk you through. Um, the native HTML document is pretty straightforward.
great. Um, there was a question about incorporating any API coding in this page. I don't believe you had anything related to API.
Oh no, this is basic HTML and CSS.
Yeah,
And when I say basic, I mean um, it's doesn't have anything like JavaScript or anything past basic markup and CSS.
great. Um, so it looks like we had a question about using publisher, and are you referring to
I think they're referencing like to build the HTML file to make it prettier.
oh, got it.
And you can use any sorts of programs you want to save as the HTML. The things you'll want to keep in mind are that any of the design features, so images like Stuart's mentioned, colors, that kind of stuff, you'll have to build that into the document itself. So a lot of times what Publisher and even PowerPoint will do is all of those are stylistic things that are native to the program. So those won't come over when you put it into the Qualtrax system because it won't render that. So yeah, and we'd be glad to talk through any of those questions you might have on like how to specifically get stylistic things in there. Keep in mind, all of this we want to do within the security of the system. So rendering external files in your Qualtrax instance usually isn't very good for security. So if you're going to show an image, we want to bring that image into Qualtrax and render the Qualtrax version of it. So yeah, just wanted to clarify that a little bit. You can build it on what you want, but you'll want to keep the stylistic things inside as well.
Ashley, you're asking about if the homepage document needs visitor access to. No, if you're talking about an on-premise system, we can have kind of a conversation about that too and how that might be affected. But as far as just inside when you're logged in to the system, then you do not have to have visitor access. That's going to just be shown once the user is logged in, but all users would need to have access to that. And then, oh, sorry, go ahead. You're going to say something,
Oh
Stuart.
no, and as I was walking through that, I was kind of realizing that I was kind of going down the wrong hole there a little bit. But um, because you're already logged into the system, and we have a hosted system, and so we have to log in. But if you're a hosted system or you require people to log in to see the web page, the homepage, then um, then I think any document will work as long as it has user access or that user has access to it. When you're testing it out outside of Qualtrax to see if it'll work, which I highly recommend, those documents you'll have to access through visitor access. So there's it's set up just like any other security on any other document as far as what you link to.
And then also, I just wanted to clarify about support. They don't need to necessarily help you with initial setup unless you were working with documents that were on your server previously and you're trying to bring those over, then you might have questions about that. We can definitely help you with that. But if you need assistance, then you can certainly go to support or we can help you out with that initial setup. But in general, you don't really need support to help you build these. You can do it all from within the user interface now, which is pretty awesome. And we did start that in, I believe, 2020.13 was really where we started making these updates to the custom homepage that allowed you to do all of it within the document tree. And I do believe we're going to be sharing this to the registries by email in a recording, so we would be able to get that to everybody. So some other questions are related to using other like PowerPoint slides or other dashboards from outside the system. Again, I think that this would all be kind of, as Tim was talking about, the file needs to be imported as an HTML, but however you want to incorporate that information, if you have links to that or other images that you want to pull from other documentation, you can certainly do that within this home page. You really are limited, like Stu was saying, just by your abilities with the HTML.
Yeah, there was one question about Power BI dashboards being allowed into that homepage, and we, like the pictures, we can't render the dashboard into the homepage for security reasons, but you could put a link, kind of like he's got on that left-hand side. You could provide the link there to them for them to quickly access without having to kind of dig through. So again, trying to keep the system safe there.
Yeah, and then linking to a custom Qualtrax report, again, if you have internal links to your internal system, you can do that as well. So we're getting a question about user feedback. Did we get special requests to add specific things? As far as how users have been providing feedback right now, since it's HTML and kind of open-ended for that, we're not hearing a lot of feedback, or I haven't personally heard a lot of feedback on what specifically people would like to see. So we welcome that, Renee, and certainly let us know if you have specific feedback that you'd like to. Oh,
Yeah, it looks like
Renee,
she followed.
sorry. Question for Stuart. I see it. So, what has your user feedback been?
Uh, it's been positive. I mean, we've just rolled it out this week. This actually went live today when I just put it up for the webinar. So we'll see. The landing page has been live for about a week with the sunrise, and so we'll see how this works. Yeah, so we're happy about it. We're gonna, for the newsletter, we're gonna try to develop some content that'll fit our goals. So, but I've heard from some people, and then it's been a positive experience for them.
So Forrest asking question about incorporating the API within, or incorporating API within the HTML. Might want to elaborate on that. I'm not exactly sure what specifically you're looking at to try and be able to incorporate.
Yeah, you can. I could elaborate a little bit on this because we've seen some people do this where within the system you kind of write a program that can interact with that API. You would have to, of course, write the program to do it as kind of that side piece, and then connect the APIs and do all of that. And I'd be glad to kind of show you or talk through what that's like if you want some more info on that. But yeah, it's possible. It just takes a higher level of coding than I'm comfortable with.
question specifically about creating different home pages shown to different groups within the system. Great question. That currently is not a feature to be able to specify different home pages for different groups, but we can definitely take that down as a feature request for future iterations. Kind of like what Stuart had set up here is he had different home pages, or as he was calling one, a landing page, just based on changing things up, but separating it out for which groups would have access to that is not a current feature. But thanks for that suggestion. Give just another minute here to see if we have any other questions. Tim, was there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I feel pretty good about it.
Great. I think that wraps it about up then. Oh, hold on.
Oh, I will mention one thing before you answer that one. If anybody does, have questions about, pages or even wants like a starting point or just kind of how we recommend going about it, feel free to reach out to Susie or I. Since these are documents that you guys maintain, support can't really help a whole lot on that, but Susie and I are more than willing to jump in and provide some guidance. So by all means, let us know if you guys have more questions after this.
Yeah, and please do reach out if you specifically wanted us to send you information. I think I only got down one person who, or a couple of people who wanted the calendar, but specifically if you did want any of the HTML that we kind of started with, then just shoot me an email and we can send that over to you. And then also confirm one of the comments that all raw files need to be in the folders visible to everyone. The images, all the other files will need to be as children to that HTML file. So, and the visibility, we can double check on that, or Tim may know, but I'm pretty sure, yes, the visibility would need to be to all users as well. Can you confirm that, Tim?
Yeah, it will depend. I'd have to double check that too, because since they're logged in, it doesn't necessarily have to be, but I'm not sure how it would render without the show document. So as far as I can remember, it does need to be with all visitor access at least.
Yeah. And Patrick, I know you're looking at, or you're interested in some dashboard information. Since that's kind of outside the scope of this one for today, we can definitely reach out to you to talk more about the dashboard. I don't know that we have any webinars set up for that, but we can definitely take that under consideration. But I will reach out to you personally just to talk about it further with you if you have any specific questions. Oh, can you put up my email address again, Tim? Share your screen with that. Thank you much. So yeah, again, here is my email address. So go ahead and reach out to me if you wanted that HTML or if you wanted any other additional information. Caleb, correct me if I'm wrong, but we will provide the recording of this to all the attendees. And then if you had any other questions or wanted some more information, go ahead and just send that over to me, and I'll figure out who the right person is to get back to you with that information. But we'd be happy to help you in any way. All right. Any last minute comments from panelists?
Nope. Thank you, Stuart, very much. Appreciate you walking everybody through this.
Yeah, Stuart,
You're
this was
welcome,
great.
and thanks for the guidance that you all provided and the support.
Anytime.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending. We appreciate everyone's attendance and fabulous questions. So thank you very much. And we'll be reaching out to those who we were specifically said that we would reach out to, and then for everybody else, we'll make sure that we help you out as needed. And getting a lot of thanks from people's in here and from people in here. So thank you very much, you guys.